Hello to everybody who is watching this video. My name is Alexis Daubermann, and I'm feeling so privileged and honored to be encouraging you a little bit today. Thank you for hopping online and watching this video. I hope that it honestly leaves you encouraged and heard and seen. So yeah, before I head in, let me tell you a little bit more about who I am. I am married to an incredible man. His name is Michael. He's my best friend. We've only been married for 2 years, but we have been dating for 6. So yeah. We have one massive dog and we have 2 cats. They're our little fur babies. And in my free time, I enjoy painting. I enjoy singing. I love gardening. It definitely relaxes me. And I absolutely love being with my family and my friends. They really do bless my life. So that is a little bit about who I am. It's a whole lot more, but just so you know, going into this. So in this session, I want to encourage you on one thing, that you are more than enough. Those are 5 words that really hit home for me recently. And it's 5 words that I really battled to believe about myself for almost 23 years. And to share a little bit about my own journey, I was raised in a very chaotic home. And I think we can all say that nobody lives in a perfect family. No one has a perfect home. No one has perfect parents. No one has perfect siblings. And so we're all going to pick up on just simply bad things in life. It's bound to happen. But how we navigate that is so important. And so the beliefs that I literally took on as a kid and took into my adulthood was that I was not enough and that I don't have a voice. And those were 2 huge beliefs that I wasn't even aware of. I didn't even actually recognize that was what I was filtering my whole life through. Every conversation I had, everything that I did, going through school, it was always that I wasn't enough and that I don't have a voice. And so maybe already as you're watching this, you're thinking, sure, that already resonates with me. And I've felt like that. And maybe it's not all the time. Maybe it's every now and then you've actually felt like I'm not enough, or you felt that you can't speak up. You feel scared to speak up. You feel scared to use your voice. And I mean use your voice in terms of speaking your truth, speaking what you feel like you want to add or say. I don't mean singing. And so I felt like I wasn't enough because, you know, I felt I had to be all things to all people. I had to be somebody that can save everybody. I literally put that pressure on myself. And maybe you here as well, that you've put that pressure on yourself. You need to fill every gap for somebody. You need to like be their savior. You know, you need to just be all things to all people. And to be quite frank, that is exhausting, and you're never going to meet that expectation. And so you're always going to feel like you're not enough. And so I had to learn that. I felt like I wasn't enough because I struggled to concentrate throughout my schooling career. I literally just passed. I really didn't do great. And so I always felt that it was me. It was because I wasn't enough. And I knew that I really tried my best. And later on in my growing up, I actually realized I battled with anxiety, and that was the reason why I didn't do as well in school, you know. And so I immediately took that on as I'm not enough, and that's why I don't do well. It's because of me. It's my value. But meanwhile, it was my external circumstance, and as soon as I could change that, everything else changed. I felt like I wasn't enough because I questioned myself all the time. If I had a conversation with somebody and I left that conversation, I would go and replay that conversation in my head and think, oh, I should have done this differently. I should have said this. I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have done that. And I'd beat myself up. And I'm sure everybody does that in some way. But all the time, after everyone you speak to, after everyone you come across, it's very exhausting. It's emotionally exhausting. And so, you know, maybe some of those things that I've said you can relate to. In some instances, with not feeling like I have a voice, I felt that if I spoke up, people wouldn't like me. You know, I had to just keep quiet, go with the flow, go with the what everyone was saying, doing, because if I didn't, people wouldn't like me. So I just had to do that. I had to fit in a box and just keep quiet and lay low, you know. And in some ways, that's so bad, you know, because you're never authentically just being you. You always have to think, who do I need to be liked by this person? And then the next person you come across, who do I need to be liked by that person? And so it's an inauthentic life, you know. And it wasn't because I didn't want to be authentic. It was simply because I didn't want to be disliked. And quite frankly, now, if somebody doesn't like my truth and they don't like what I have to say in an assertive, respectful way, it doesn't need to affect me, you know. I felt like if I spoke up, I would be rejected, I would be abandoned, people would walk away from me, I would lose friends. And I value friendship, I value relationships. So that was such a big thing for me. I didn't want to lose people that I love. And so, you know, and I realized that is such an extreme. And people actually respect you when you speak up. People start to respect you when you speak up. You start to respect you when you speak up. And I also believed that if I spoke up, people wouldn't value what I had to say, because I believed what I had to say wasn't valuable. And I just have to keep quiet, you know. And so maybe all of what I've said is like, sure, I've experienced that. And, you know, and there's a few things that I've learned through a journey that I've been on, a very painful but very necessary journey. And I'm hoping that something that I say can encourage you and just give you hope that things can get better. And it starts with you. So the first thing that I want to say is how you speak to yourself is so important. The story you tell yourself, the story of who you think you are, who you think you are in the view of other people's eyes, how you speak to yourself. I mean, if you had to think, would you speak to other people the way that you speak to yourself in your head? Honestly, if I answer that, I could say no. I'm harsh with myself, you know, and so, and I judge myself a lot. And you got to almost think, would I actually speak the way I speak to myself to somebody else? And no, then, you know, you got to cut it. Another thing was that you need to choose what tension you want to experience, because you're always going to experience tension. You're going to experience a tension in having to say no to people, no to the expectation on you, no to who they want you to be. There's going to be tension. And there's also going to be tension in choosing to not betray yourself, you know, to say, actually, I'm going to do this for me. And I'm not going to betray myself in this. And there's going to be a bit of tension in that as well. But what tension are you willing to choose? And what is the outcome of the tension that you choose? You know, you're going to either choose a life that is going to build a good life for you, or you're going to build a good life that pleases other people. And I don't think you were created for that. I think you were created for a life of abundance and not being almost attached to somebody else's happiness. So speak up, share your thoughts, share your ideas, and live honestly. You know, be honest. And the people who really care about you and really love you will have an ear for your voice. They will have an ear for what you have to say. They will see you. And lastly, always check your motives. Always check your motives. If you are doing something because you want to please somebody else, you want recognition, you want to be seen, acknowledged, then maybe recheck the motive. Because if you live by man's praise, you will die by their criticism. And that is so, so true. Why are you doing what you do? Why are you saying what you say? You know, I had to change my motive to, I'm doing this for my life. I'm doing this for my future. I'm doing this for my family one day, my children one day. I'm doing this for my generation. That is why I'm doing what I'm doing. That is why I'm making the decisions I'm making. And that is why I'm careful to where I place my yes and where I place my no. And so before I end off, I want to just say that you are enough. You're enough on your good days. You're enough on your bad days. And you're enough on the days in between. And I'm not saying that to promote arrogance or selfishness, or I'm giving permission to be rude. Not at all. It's simply to the people who feel overlooked, to the people who feel walked over and trampled on, you're enough. You're more than enough. And when you start adopting those new beliefs about yourself and you choose to believe that every single day, and every time you're confronted with that thought of you're not enough, and keep quiet, you need to go against that and contend with it and say, no, I am enough and I'm going to do this and I'm going to push beyond what I'm comfortable. And you're going to see a change in the way that you speak to yourself. You're going to see a change in the way that people talk to you, how they treat you. And I want to say that you are valuable regardless of your upbringing. You're valuable regardless of your situation currently. You are valuable regardless of your family's background. You're valuable regardless of what people have labeled you with. Because if you think of a diamond and you think of the value on a diamond, it doesn't change. If you find a diamond in mud, or if you find a diamond in a jewelry store, the value of that diamond is the same. And so I want to encourage you to take that on and remember that you're a diamond, that you are valuable, and that nothing can change your value. Absolutely nothing. And I honestly hope that you're encouraged by this, that you can adopt some new mindsets and challenge some of your old beliefs, because you're worth it and you really deserve a life full of abundance. Goodbye.